Eggplant grows so beautifully in the West Australian sun, across the whole state and easily in most backyards. This recipe celebrates that beautiful silkiness that you can get from the aubergine, and matching it with a light, fluffy bao is just the perfect treat. Even my 2-year-old loves it. We're going to make the dough by mixing the dry ingredients with the wet. I've got plain flour mixed with corn flour and some activated yeast. And in this one is some warm water and oil, and we just pop that in. And with the dough hook, we're just going to mix it together. Okay. So while the dough's resting and doubling, we're going to make the filling. Just want to get a nice small dice on the eggplant. You don't need to take any of the skin off. Living here in WA, we are spoilt for choice with local growers and suppliers, but there's something really special about growing your own and knowing where it comes from. That's why this dish is so fabulous. And now we get started on the sauce. We want this on a medium to high temperature, so we're going to get that sauce bubbling away. First in is the sesame oil. Just 1 to 2 tablespoons of the sesame, because it is a strong flavour, and a little bit of garlic. And it's a nice strong heat, so it won't take long at all. Next are our more wet ingredients. So the Shaoxing. Ooh, bubble. Rice wine vinegar. We've got a dark and a light soy. A few star anise and clove, and a fresh bay leaf. You'll have to pick these out after it's cooked, but the flavour is worth the fumbling around. We add in the thicker ingredients, so the hoisin. The sugar's not too much, it's just enough to sweeten it up a little bit. The benefits of cooking with gas is you've got the control. We can saute like we're doing here, or steam, and it's really quick, there's no waiting around. I really love Clean Heat because they've been supporting local households and businesses for 60 years with the team on the ground, and you just can't beat that. It's bubbling away nicely, so now we add the eggplant, and it's just gonna soak all that flavour in. The last ingredient is the mushroom XO. This just gives a great flavour and a texture balance as well. Once it's all coated, you can really just leave it alone. It takes about 5 minutes. Once we've finished sauteing the eggplant, we're just going to set it aside and let it cool. That way it'll be a lot easier to work with. To get the dough, I've already knocked it back once. The knockback process is literally a little bit of anger management. And then you're just kneading it. So we're building up the complexities of the proteins just to make the dough as light and fluffy as possible. When you rest it, the way that you test if it's ready or not, it wants to look smooth, and when it's proving, you're basically poking it and it wants to bounce back pretty quickly. We want even little balls, so we're just going to move it around and poke your finger through, and eventually you can get it into a nice cylinder. This is just a process to get the evenness between the balls. Now this process needs to be pretty quick, because the longer this dough is out, the more it's going to prove. I'm just going to roll it up, so a nice even flatness across the whole dough in your palm. And we just want a little bit of mixture. It's messy, it's a really great one to do with the kids. I find the less mixture I put in, the easier it is to form that pinch at the top. But other than that, it is just practice, practice, practice. So they're nice and snug in here. We're just going to brush them with a bit of oil, and that's just to get a nice shine on them. Just for fun and a little bit of flavour, we've got some black sesame seeds. These are going to sit for half an hour, and then we're going to steam them. What we want to look for when we're steaming the bao buns is to have a consistent heat, not rolling. You don't want too many bubbles, you want it to be nice and stable. So that's another great thing about cooking with gas. The condensation happens and droplets will come up, so I like to put a tea towel on top and just tie it up, and that will just grab any droplets before they drop onto the actual baos, ruining that nice perfect finish. They've risen beautifully, I've rested them for about 5 minutes and they go just perfectly with a chili sauce and black vinegar. I'm using these just so it's prettier. And then the real money shot, yum. For more on turning homegrown veggies into delicious meals, come and see me this April at the Clean Heat Kitchen for the Perth Garden Outdoor Festival.